Today, we are diving into one of the most ancient, most foundational texts of humanity, the Ṛgveda. And trust me, it's not what you think it is.
So, let's just start with a mind bender. What if the oldest text in any Indo-European language, a work at centuries older than Homer or the Bible, isn't actually a book in any way we'd recognize?
Because, well, it isn't. The Ṛgveda is something so much more alive, more dynamic. It's a liturgical library. Think about that. A collection of over 1,000 hymns, kept alive not on paper, but through one of the most staggering feats of human memory in history. We're talking about an oral tradition of mind-boggling precision that's lasted for over 3,500 years. It's just wild.
Okay, so if it's not a single book, what is it? I want you to picture it like an archaeological dig. That's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to excavate this ancient library layer by layer and watch as the story of human thought itself unfolds. The whole collection is built around 10 Maṇḍalas, which basically just means books or circles. And scholars have this incredible tool called linguistic-based stratigraphy. Now, that's a mouthful, but all it really means is that just like a geologist reads layers of rock to see a history of the Earth, linguists can read the layers of language in the Maṇḍalas. The grammar, the vocabulary, it all changes over time, giving us a perfect timeline of thought from the oldest hymns to the newest.
And when you map it out, you see this incredible progression. The oldest stuff, the absolute ritual heart of the text, goes all the way back to about 1500 BCE. A little later, you get a whole book dedicated to this mysterious sacred drink, soma. And then finally, you get the latest and longest books, and this is where the game totally changes. The focus shifts big time from just doing rituals to asking huge philosophical questions.
So let's put on our archaeology hats and start digging. We're going right to the bottom, to the oldest layer, the so-called family books of Maṇḍalas 2 through 7.
Now, if you're expecting epic stories and grand myths, you're going to have to hit pause on that idea. These hymns are much more like highly specialized proprietary technical manuals. I'm serious. They belong to specific priestly families, and their purpose was intensely practical, making sure the cosmic fire sacrifice, the yajna, was done with absolute perfect precision.
And here's maybe the most important thing to grasp about this early layer. The gods here are not characters. They're not like the dramatic, jealous, human-like gods of Greek mythology. No, they're much better understood as cosmic functions. They literally have jobs to do. Let's just look at the big three. You've got Agni, the fire god. His function? He's the intermediary, the divine postman who takes the offerings and delivers them to the other gods. Then you have Indra, the warrior king. He's the divine agent of action, the guy whose job it is to smash obstacles and get things done. And Soma, this deified prant, he's the energizer, the fuel that powers up both the gods and the warriors. It's all about their cosmic job description, not their personal soap opera.
So for centuries, it's all about ritual, precision, function. But then, something profound begins to change. Let's climb out of the ancient trenches of our dig and head to the top layers, Maṇḍalas 1 and 10. The atmosphere up here is completely different.
You can literally see it in the words themselves. The language has evolved. But that change in language is just mirroring a massive earthquake in thought. The people composing these hymns are no longer just focused on performing the sacrifice. They're starting to lean back and ask, hang on a second, what does any of this actually mean?
And the questions they start asking are just staggering. Where did everything come from? Seriously, what's the origin of the universe? And are all these gods we worship just different names for one single ultimate reality? This is the birth of philosophy, caught on tape, so to speak.
This intellectual explosion hits its absolute peak in Maṇḍala 10. And this is where we find two of the most famous hymns in the entire collection. And here's the crazy part. They completely contradict each other. It's like watching an entire civilization debate the meaning of existence with itself in real time.
So, in one corner, you have the Nāsadīya Sūkta. This is the hymn of radical skepticism, of profound uncertainty. It's totally cool with saying, who knows? In the other corner, you have the Puruṣa Sūkta. This one is all about dogmatic certainty. It gives a clear, hierarchical answer for how everything was created. The Nāsadīya Sūkta tries to imagine a time before existence itself, when there was just that one, breathing without wind. It is mind-bending stuff. And it ends with maybe one of the most breathtaking lines ever written, wondering if even the ultimate creator really knows how it all began. He indeed knows, it says, or perhaps he knows not.
That is profound, agnostic poetry from 3,000 years ago.
Then, in complete contrast, the Puruṣa Sūkta gives a very different kind of answer. It says creation happened through the sacrifice of a cosmic giant named Puruṣa, and it's famous because it is the only hymn in the entire Ṛgveda to name the 4 social classes, the Varnas, and say they came from different parts of this cosmic body. It basically provides a theological blueprint for a hierarchical society, presenting it as a divine, cosmic fact.
So how do we make sense of this whole journey from ritual to philosophy? The key, I think, is to understand a massive fork in the road that happened in the ancient world, a fundamental split in how cultures treated their foundational texts.
Let's compare the Ṛgveda to its distant cousins, the Greek myths. They both come from the same ancient root, but they went in totally opposite directions. The Greek myths became literature. You read them for the story. The Ṛgveda stayed as liturgy. You perform it to get a result. Because of that, Greek gods became dramatic personalities, while Vedic gods stayed as cosmic functions, and this led to the ultimate split. The Greek path went outward, toward humanism and exploring the world. The Vedic path turned inward, on a quest for the abstract reality behind all the gods.
If you remember one thing, remember this. You read Homer for a story. You perform the Veda to help run the cosmos. That difference is everything.
That really brings us to the grand trajectory of this incredible library of sound. The whole collection is basically the logbook of a multi-century pivot, a turn from the outer world to the inner world.
You can see the journey in 3 clear steps. First, you have practical ritual, just doing what you need to do to keep the universe running. Then comes philosophical speculation, starting to ask why we're doing it and what it all means. And that questioning kicks off the next great phase of Indian thought, the quest for Brahman, that single, formless reality that the Nāsadīya Sūkta was gesturing toward.
And that right there is the real genius of the Ṛgveda. It isn't a book with a final set of answers. It's a library that records the evolution of questions. Questions so powerful, they launched a philosophical journey into the nature of reality that has been going on for thousands of years.
So, I'll just leave you with this to chew on. The entire journey recorded in the Ṛgveda seems to be pointing toward one radical idea. What if the ultimate goal of wisdom isn't about finding and praising the gods, but about developing the vision to see the singular reality that lies beyond them all?